Michigan State Representative Jewell joins us to discuss his plans for Michigan. And a new panel is here to discuss President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress, the Attorney General upending trans rights, and the Democrats' new leadership. It's Tuesday, February 28th, the last day of Black History Month. Welcome to Political Culture.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, Political Culture.
Hey guys, welcome to Black Hollywood Live's Political Culture. I'm your host, Drexel Hurd. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Hurd. Follow AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV and Black Hollywood Live at BHL Online. And use the hashtag ABTVPolyculture to join the conversation. We're going to get to our panel here in just a second. But my first guest today is a 21-year-old double major in political science at the University of Michigan Dearborn, a former city councilman, and now serves as the youngest member in history elected to the Michigan House of Representatives, representing the 11th District. Welcome to the show, State Representative Jewell Jones. Hello.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for coming on today.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure.
So listen, congratulations on your election. You won with 65% of the vote. That is huge. What was it like being endorsed by President Obama, and what's it been like for you over the past couple of months, being the youngest representative in Michigan history?
It was a blessing. It was like being able to be endorsed by someone that I was looking up to over like the past 8 years, someone who I think opened the door for a lot of individuals, young and old, from a plethora of different backgrounds. I think it was a great moment. But as far as the position goes now, it's going really good. You know, we did a lot of work on the front end. The team did. So we're rocking and rolling right now, and everyone's welcoming, and it hasn't been too partisan yet from the Democratic and the Republican side. So we're hoping to keep things moving.
And so, like I said at the top of the show during your intro, you are a double major in political science. What's the other major?
Business studies.
Business studies. So how do you balance your time between school and representing the people of Inkster?
Well, I don't necessarily think that it's much of a balance. We kind of just do a whole lot of running around. So we just pack everything in on the schedule, and we do as much as we possibly can. But, you know, we have a good team here out in Lansing at the Capitol, a good team back in the district, in the several communities that we represent, and then we have a good team at school too. So I think, you know, everyone coming together and helping out where they can, and just staying focused on whatever I'm focused on at the time. It's been working out so far. So I'm almost done.
So for folks listening who might not know how big Michigan is, state representatives or anything have to travel back. How far is Lansing from your district? Like, how often are you having to commute back and forth?
So typically, we'll be out here for session for when we vote Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and it's about an hour and 20 minutes away from where I live at. So, you know, I just get on the road real early to avoid traffic and get on the road real late to avoid traffic on the way back, so it's not too bad. And we drive back and forth every day we come. You know, we like to use that young energy.
So no state trooper escort for you yet? Get you from point A to point B? Not yet, at least.
Right.
So you were recently appointed as the Deputy Democratic Caucus Chair. What's that been like for you, and can you explain to viewers who might not know what a Deputy Democratic Caucus Chair does? Explain that to everybody.
Oh, it's been good. It was good to get chosen for a leadership position as a freshman, and really, so the caucus is basically the Democratic caucus. So, as Vice Caucus Chair, I'm basically the assistant to our actual caucus chair, and we basically have our hands in everything that the Democratic caucus does, from campaigning to finance to running meetings to figuring out caucus positions if we have to take one on a vote or on some kind of legislation. So anything really regarding activity from the Democratic side, we have some input in and we have some activity in at all times. And so I think being a freshman, it's a wonderful position for me to really learn about just how the landscape is out here in Lansing. So I greatly appreciate it.
So you all just started your legislative session in January. What are some of the main areas that you're going to be focused on during your first term?
Well, I know right now I'm dealing a lot with privatization kind of things, where I'm trying to make sure that we're still protecting our public servants. I'm also doing some sexual assault on college campus legislation, cybersecurity legislation, campaign and election reform, criminal justice reform. So we have our hands in quite a few things, but those are probably the main topics I'm going to be focused on over the next couple of years.
And as a new face to a new face, not only just a new face, but a young face, how do you convince the other members of the House about those ideas? Like, how do you get your voice heard in such a body that's probably been there for a few people that have been there for a few years, for probably a long time?
Right. I think we're in an interesting position, being like an anomaly to the state legislature. I think people for years have been looking for a way to really get the. I'm thinking like we're coming from a different perspective. We have different ideas. We think a little differently. So our part of the conversation has been lacking, and so now we bring that to the table. So I think that we have a point of contact where people welcome us in on the conversation, and they're open to hear, because frankly that's something that they've been missing for quite a while. So I don't think it takes much convincing. If it's good legislation and it's good policy, people out here are really welcoming of it, because we're out here to serve the people. So
Michigan has a Republican governor in Rick Snyder. Republicans control the state legislature and hold many of the congressional seats, but you have two Democratic U.S. senators. Hillary Clinton lost the state of Michigan. Where is the disconnect for Democrats in the state of Michigan, and how do you think the party can convince Michigan voters that they have their best interest?
Oh, I definitely think across the state of Michigan we have a wide range of Democrats, first off, and I think as far as it goes with the last election, I think the party kind of strayed away from its base, and it was trying to capture all these new votes. I know a big focus of the Clinton campaign was to do a lot of voter registration. So I think that we kind of forgot about our base, who always comes out and supports, and it was just the messaging. Like, I know here in Michigan, Republicans do a fantastic job of messaging the people. Like, for example, the right to work legislation that they pulled, which is not very beneficial for workers, but it sounds good. And I think Democrats have lost that touch, because we try to send this broad message to everyone, instead of really meeting people where they're at and being relatable. I think if Democrats focus on that and actually getting out in the communities, building capacity, trying to increase engagement, and then sustain this engagement over time, I think we'll be in much better shape come the next elections.
So the Democrats just chose their new chair in Tom Perez on Saturday. Just based on what you kind of told me, how do you think Tom Perez and Keith Ellison need to refocus their attention on small cities like Inkster and up in Lansing and basically the state of Michigan and Pennsylvania, these states that Democrats have traditionally won? From a national level, where do you think that the national party needs to go? Because I think that Tom Perez and Keith Ellison have really talked about a 50-state strategy, but what can they do for your state to help refocus their efforts and refocus the issues?
Right, and so I don't know Tom Perez all that well, but I know Keith Ellison quite well, and I know even we've had conversations about what he's done in his area as far as increasing capacity and engagement. I mean, literally. And so I think it's really just about getting out in those communities. A lot of times, when people are on campaigns and doing different things, they tend to focus on only the people that have been active. And if, they feel like something's not worth going in and, enter into that city or that town because it's either not going to provide a good turnout or because it is going to typically turn out in your favor, I think we need to forget about all that and make sure that we're actually getting out into the communities. It's about building a team, getting a nice street team locally. Frankly, of a lot of young people, just so we can get people started in the process. And as long as we start building up this team right now in local communities, because all politics is local, so I think as long as people see it on in their neighborhoods, on their blocks, that the Democrats will be much better off. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what I've been hearing from like Tom Perez and Keith Ellison. So I'm looking forward to the new change.
I know Flint isn't your district, but what's next? What's the next step for the legislature, and how is it possible that the city, at this point, we've been talking about Flint for almost 2 years, how is it that city still does not have the clean drinking water that they need in that city?
Right, and so as far as Flint goes, I mean, everyone. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but everyone has lead in their water, right? And
right.
And really, we all need an underground infrastructure upgrade here in Michigan. And I think Michigan has dropped the ball as far as it goes on really taking care of our infrastructure, because we've been patching up a lot of different things instead of actually going ahead and fixing it. And so the governor, feeling as if he needs to really give back, because I mean, it was a terrible situation, and it made news worldwide. And so what he's doing now, even for example, in the budget that was just recently proposed, there was $100 million of federal funds to be basically appropriated to the city of Flint to help them out. And so, it's nice that people are doing campaigns and giving bottles of water, but until we really take care of the underground infrastructure, I mean, the problem's going to persist.
But Republicans are not fans of infrastructure bills. So how do you convince Governor Snyder and the Republicans in the House to pass an infrastructure bill that works for the people?
Well, I think it's common sense. Like it's happened.
We would think so.
And we see what happened. And so now, even in cities like Fraser, they had a sinkhole issue. I mean, it's going to continue to happen everywhere unless we take care of the issue. So I think it's really just getting a message that resonates with them as far as, what happened here now is going to be happening on the street near you. And as long as we actually bring that message home so people understand that it doesn't just because it happened in Flint, that might not be the area you represent, that it could very well at any given moment happen to the citizens in your city. It can happen to your home. So I think it's really just driving that message home to people so they can, like I said, you got to be related. You got to meet people where they're at.
Right.
So just let them know that it can happen to them and show them, we actually came here to serve the people, not just in our districts, but everyone across the state of Michigan. So just getting something that where they can understand that, I think it'll help out.
Like I said at the top of the show, you're the youngest in Michigan state history. What do you tell people, young people who are interested in running for office and being a part of the political conversation and getting out there? Like, what kind of advice do you have for people who are interested in not necessarily being politicians, but being representatives?
I know I always tell them go ahead and get involved now. I mean, the sooner you start, the better it'll be. And it's always someone out there looking for a young person to train up, and really the room for growth in the political arena or just the community at large is so vast for young people because, I mean, it's an ever-changing world right now. And as soon as you get in, you're learning and you're growing, and by the time you reach the age of some of the people that's been in politics now, you'll be so well ahead of the curve. And so I definitely always encourage young people to get involved. And, I've learned some things over the way, proper things. I've made some mistakes. And so I'm definitely always passing that stuff along because I think it's important for young people to get involved. I mean, the things that are getting passed now as far as legislation goes and as far as policies goes, they're going to be affecting us. And we are not always at the table. So I always tell them to get involved because there's always plans, there's always help, and you always have a team ready if you like to get involved.
So you are up for re-election next year because House members served 2 years in Congress. When do you actually start campaigning? And campaigning again, even though you just started, we all know that the campaign starts as soon as you just get sworn in. And what does the future look like for you?
So, I mean, as far as campaigning goes, like you just said, like the campaign never stops. So it's a continuous thing. But as far as what the future looks like for me, I'm not exactly sure. I have this broad goal of where I would like to be, where I can help anyone out. As soon as they give me a call and ask for something, like I can just freely give it to them. So I'm not exactly sure what the position looks like, but we're just enjoying the motion, and wherever God leads us, that's where we're going to follow. I mean, it's my eyes are really open. I was on city council.
Right.
I still had 3 years left, and then we transitioned here to the state representative position. So I believe like anything is possible, and at any given moment, life can change. So I don't necessarily have my eyes set on anything, but I understand that I'm only 21. The entire team is young, so we have plenty of time to do a lot of great things out here with a lot of great people. So I'm just optimistic about the future,
Well, we talked about state troopers, so hopefully one day soon you will be escorted by state troopers to Lansing. Where can everybody follow you on Twitter and social media?
Well, on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Jewell Jones MI. That's just JEWELL JONES MI. And then you can find me on Facebook at Jewell Jones or State Rep Jewell Jones or State Representative Jewell Jones. As long as you type in my name, you should be able to pull me up. That's about it for me.
Thanks for coming on the show today. I really appreciate the conversation. Come back anytime, and we look forward to watching you in the Michigan House.
I appreciate it, brother. You take care.
You too. Thank you so much. Just a quick programming update. Next week is author Isabella Wagner, who wrote The Rule of Law, No Democracy, Conflicts of Interest, Corruption, and Elections as Democratic Deficits, will be joining the show next week. And then the following week, or the following episode, Congressman Eric Swalwell from the 15th District, the Congressional District of California, will be joining us as well. Okay. Let's get to the panels today.
Who are we?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, that was a great interview.
Thank you so much. You guys know these folks. Mr. Frank Moran.
Hey, everybody, I'm Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
And I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. everywhere in the world.
You know what? You know what made me... So when you came in earlier, you remember that show, James Bond Jr.? Every time I say because it's James Lott Jr., I just think of James Bond Jr. I don't know whether, because it doesn't work for me. It's not. I can't go Drexel her the second. It doesn't work.
I was called James Bond. I was called all kinds of names as a kid. James Lott, James. I got all that stuff all the time.
But I also feel like James Bond's not a bad name to be.
No. I'm probably called worse too.
James Bond Jr. did not last that long. It was a cartoon.
Yes, cartoon.
But,
yes.
So thanks for coming on the show today.
Yes, I'm very excited.
I really appreciate you guys coming on.
I feel embarrassed, though, after listening to Jewell. I'm 21 and already accomplished this much.
I know.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody earlier that I'd be, one of my coworkers earlier, I said, yeah, I've got this really great guy coming on. He's a representative. He's 21. She's like, what am I doing with my life?
I know.
Yes.
Hello. One thing said for me as the elder statesman of the group tonight, that we still are having first is really interesting for me.
Right.
That we're still having first youngest or first person of color.
I mean, everybody, they get younger.
They
and everybody
are,
gets younger
I
and younger.
know. God.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
Like I said, welcome to the show. Frank, you're on MacGyver and...
the GH Report with James here.
Yeah.
We do a show together every
and you've
Sunday.
got the Hardys, so catch their shows every week.
And on Black Hollywood Live, I have Breaking Into, and catch our show together we did last week.
It was so much fun.
It was
Thank
a lot
you
of
for
fun.
having me on.
It was my pleasure.
Right now, as we are in this studio,
Yes.
Donald Trump is giving his joint session speech, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Sorry.
So, Saturday,
Yes.
the Democrats had their election of their new chairman.
Yes.
We have gone through Debbie Wasserman Schultz during the election, then Donna Brazile after the primaries were over,
Yeah.
and now Democrats have finally have a new leader in Tom Perez. How do you guys feel about that?
James.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my thought is with both, Tom Perez and Keith Ellison, they were both very similar. So it wasn't like it was two very diametrically opposed people. They both had similar kind of ideas and ideals and diagnoses on what needs to happen in the Democratic Party. So it's kind of like, it wasn't like the lesser of two anything, or it wasn't the more of two anything. It was like, oh, these two guys who each have their own kind of backing. I know Tom Perez was kind of more thought of as the establishment kind of compared to Keith.
Which you hear all the Bernie supporters are all like,
Yes.
oh, the establishment wins again.
Again. But he wasn't bad. He did great things with the Labor Department, he did great things with civil rights. I mean, like, he wasn't a bad person in his past, just that he wasn't a Bernie person, I guess. He was where Keith was more with the Obama side. So I feel like
Keith was more the Bernie side.
Wait, Bernie side,
Right.
sorry, Bernie side. So I mean, I wasn't really upset that. I mean, I thought this might be a good choice. I think Tom Perez knows the Democratic Party needs restructuring, it needs refocusing, it needs a lot of work. I feel bad for him, kind of. He needs a lot of work.
They are. Give me 1 second. They are severely understaffed right now, from what I understand. And so yeah, they do need to rebuild, because what people don't understand is that what happens after the end of a presidential election is that the national party gets basically depleted.
Yes.
Because all the resources go to the presidential
Of course,
campaign.
yeah.
And so, and that's what happened to this Democratic Party. So, Frank, what do you think that Tom Perez and now Keith Ellison as the deputy chair, what do you think they need to do to A, calm everybody's nerve, and B, help rebuild that part of the party so they can do what they need to do?
Well, I mean, I guess the nice first step was that, I mean, they established that Keith was going to be like the deputy chief of that. So I feel like they at least kind of bridged those two together. But I guess it's one thing to just say it, and now it's
Right, and just to be clear, this isn't like some made-up position. This is a position that's been there before.
But-
They had it. They've had it before.
Right.
It's not something that Tom was just like,
Here you go.
hey, here's a a
Right.
thing. And
Right.
so, sorry.
No, but I also feel like a lot of times with the Democratic Party, it's I keep thinking of like the American President, where Michael Douglas kept on,
It's one of my favorites.
Yes, where he just kept on like, I'm not going to engage, I'm not going to engage, not going to engage, and then finally he just wanted to be the Michael Douglas that he is at the end.
Right.
Where he just gives that speech, and you're like, yes, that's what I want the Democratic Party to be, just to stand up and I don't want to say like fight back, but just they feel like they've taken the high road so many times.
Be
that,
more stern.
Yes.
In their belief system. Be more stern. Like you said, just kind of like, well, we'll be really nice. Like, stop being kind of nice, kind of. That's not getting us anywhere these
Right,
days.
but let me ask you that, and just to that point, how, people always say, oh, well, the grown-ups have to show up at some point. What does that mean for you guys in terms of like just personally, like when people say that, in terms of politics, like, do you feel that Democrats have to be the grown-ups, or at this point you're just like, you know what, they just need to go out there and do their thing and say what they need to say?
I mean, I wouldn't want them to see them play kind of like by the Republican rules. I don't feel like that's the answer, because then if it's just a bunch of people trying to spread their version of the truth, their version of the facts, then that's not good either. So I mean, you have to be smart and lead from the front, but I guess just to find a way to engage. I mean, it's just like the Republicans have such a machine built already where they can spin anything into their direction and just make the Democrats seem like a bad party, and it's tough to find out how the Democrats can counteract that without stooping to their level. I feel like that's a challenge for them, and I don't know exactly how they're going to be able to.
Well, what do you expect them to do? What do you want them to do?
What I'd love for them to, I would love to see a great turnout in 2 years to be able to see they can get back the houses, get back the House and the Senate.
Do you think they should be obstructing Donald Trump?
I feel like you can't just let him run roughshod over everything either.
Right.
I mean, we still have to have
The
a
checks and
country.
balances.
Yes, for sure. So I feel like I want them to be able to stand up. I definitely want that. I don't want them just to acquiesce, because I feel like a lot of the Republicans, whether they're for good, even though they're not Trump fans, they're still acquiescing to the bigger party. And so I'd rather see them standing up and fight along the way. That's what I want to see. I want to see at least somebody standing up to Trump and trying to put him in check.
Well, Maxine Waters is doing that. What about you, James? She's
yes.
not even there tonight. So
I know.
she said, "I will
Maxine.
not go there." I think the quote was, "I wouldn't be able to control my excitement about what I might do if he says something great." Like, I think it was something along those lines.
Yes. You asked personally how it feels, and this election really showed my age, because there was a very big divide between my Generation X and with millennials. I think Generation X, the baby boomers, we really kind of we see things differently than the millennials do. And it's really funny that, even things like, she wasn't likable, or like, we don't even look at stuff like that. We kind of look at, well, what is their record? What is their track record? We know sometimes things take a long time to get there, but you fight. And I see that the millennials that I ran across and had fights with basically during the election see it differently. So I think this party needs to really bridge that gap first. I think it has to be really internal. They got to start internally. And almost what Jewell Jones was saying, go to the smaller towns, start talking to people, because a lot of people feel like it doesn't really affect them, that no one cares about them. And I had a lot of people kept saying during the election, well, whoever gets elected, it won't bother me anyway. And now they're seeing differently, of course. But it's like there's a disconnect, and Jewell really talks about that. I totally agree with them. Start internally and start really, almost like, shaking hands and kissing babies. Start really doing that and bring the generations together.
So basically, Democrats have got to get back to basics.
Yes.
Maybe the DNC should run a B2B. Like that should be their focus right now. Just a back to basics, on their website. Just here's what we need to do. Get your ideas. Here's your packet to to be a Democrat, not to be a Democrat, but like here's where we're going to start that out. So to that point, Pete Buttigieg, who dropped out, who I personally was supporting, talked a lot about he's from a small town, Indiana, and so he talked a lot about going to those small towns and making sure that he's in South Bend, Indiana, and making sure that focus on that. So hopefully Democrats, the leadership will take heed in that.
Because have you gone? I mean, I travel the country a lot, and I go to some of these small towns where I'm like, how are they surviving? I mean, like, how are they alive? So I hear the things they're talking about. They're really nice people in these small towns,
right,
but they're looking for something.
Right.
And the Democrat Party needs to go to them and start talking to them and say, okay, we hear you, we see you, and then like really make them feel like they're part of something bigger.
Right, and I think that, how do you guys feel? Well, it's always interesting because I was at a thing this weekend, and I remember saying, I see a lot of people complaining on Facebook about what the Democratic Party is not doing, or what the or what any party basically is not doing, and they are the first people not to show up or get involved in that. So how do you do you guys feel like those people what do they do?
I'm hoping that what they're seeing now that's happening with this administration is going to show people what happens if you don't get involved. And you almost, which in one sense is bad that we have to go to this extreme to be able to get them involved, but I guess that is the one, a good side that could happen is that when you see what happens if you don't get your voice heard, you don't get involved, things like this can happen. And it's easy to hop on Facebook and be angry about it, but now also take this opportunity to actually do something about it to change it.
Right.
Because we saw the opposite, 8 years ago.
In the Tea Party.
And we saw that. And even before that, with Obama, how we saw that if we go vote, we have a black president. We saw physically how this could actually work.
Right, and we saw it in Delaware this weekend in their special election, and the spread the prior election was 51-49, something like that, and this election was 58-42, the spread was much larger. Yeah. So hopefully, if Democrats want to, they need to look at what happened in Delaware, mimic that across states. Georgia has a special election coming up in just a few weeks, and so we'll see what happens. So definitely check out dnc.org for all the information on what the Democrats are doing. And like we said, get involved in your local. It is no secret that I am a registered Democrat. There's no secret that I'm a Democrat.
Not at all.
Not at all. No. I sit on the board of the Democratic Party of San Fernando Valley. I'm a delegate to the party, to the California State Party. So those are the things that you have to do to get involved, to change the policy that you think are important. So I challenge everybody to get out there, or go to runforsomething.com, because they will tell you how to get involved, and they are starting to recruit people to run for offices in their cities.
Yeah, you see Jewell right there. That's a great example.
That's a great example.
An inspiration right
there.
Yes, I agree.
So just some White House news.
Just some news?
Just some news in the White House.
Yeah, break it down for us.
So last week, Sean Spicer, the press secretary, started to bar news organizations from the White House press briefing. Now, just for full disclosure, just so I get it out there, the White House press secretary often does have press gaggles, which are smaller press briefings in his office or her office. They have conversation, but they canceled the briefing altogether, and then brought in more conservative news outlets and basically had a briefing there. How do you guys feel about that?
It just irritates me to no end just how they're running this, but But I am also hoping that I'm eager for all these other news outlets, the one that that are excluded, where your CNN, even your BuzzFeed,
Right, on BuzzFeed.
Yes.
I know BuzzFeed.
But they're using this as an opportunity to just do some real investigative journalism. Just get the facts out there. Not to sit there. You don't have to sit there at the press briefing and be given that information. Like I like the idea of. Many people have said, like, don't cover it live. Fact check these and be able to at least give, the balanced opinions about before you just start letting them just spiel their rhetoric on stage. So I would hope that they would do more hard-hitting.
Do you watch press briefings?
I only watch the clips. So I only watch the clips. I can't watch the full ones.
You would much rather watch C.J. Craig's press briefings on the West Wing
yes.
than anybody else's, because that's what I would do.
Because she does the Jackal, maybe.
Yeah, she'll be the Jackal, yes.
Yes.
Oh, she'll be the Jackal.
That's so funny.
Allison Jenny, you can come on the show anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime you
Love
want
her. No, for me, it's just, they always say when someone shows you themselves, believe it. It just,
We needed Maya this election. I'm just throwing that out there. We really needed Maya Angelou.
Yes, we do.
We needed Ayala.
Oh, we do need her to fix our life.
Fix America.
Fix America's life. No, but a problem that I have is just that it's just so transparent. I mean, it's hypocritical and all that stuff, but it's so transparent. They are showing us who they are.
Right.
And that's what hits me more. It's like my mouth's on the ground literally every day when something new happens. I'm like, oh, they're showing us who they are. Like, this is literally just showing us exactly what their agenda is.
Right. So, did you guys watch the White House Correspondents' Dinner last year? Have you ever watched the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
I've watched a few. I watched the Colbert one.
You watched the Colbert one? Did you watch
the
Keegan Peele?
No,
What's his name?
Keegan-Michael
Key?
Yes.
Keegan Peele. I just saw Get Out this weekend. It was super funny. I'm not making a plug, but go see it because it's very funny. It's very funny. So Donald Trump has decided that he will not be attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So the story is that the Vanity Fair and a lot of the other organizations were canceling their parties. No celebrity was going to show up. So Donald Trump decided that he wanted to preempt the news of them not showing up by saying, oh, well, I'm just not going to show up.
Yes.
I think that, when you think of the last time, it was Ronald Reagan, because he was recovering from his assassination.
Yeah, he was almost assassinated.
Right.
And then the last one before that was Richard Nixon, back in 72.
So
but other than
Trump
that,
is pulling a Nixon, basically.
yes. Where it's just like...
Because Reagan had an excuse.
He had an excuse.
absolutely,
He had a little
yes.
small excuse, yeah.
I think he sent a statement, though.
Yeah,
like
he
he said,
did send a
yeah,
statement.
I'm like recovering and like
I was shot.
I was shot. Maybe I don't know if you saw me fall to the ground.
Yeah, I remember all that. Yes.
So who do you guys think should, if the White House Correspondents just put out a statement,
I got somebody.
They will continue on with their. Who do you think should replace?
I think if Pence wants to be president, he needs to go there and look presidential. He needs to show up, and my brother and I talked about this the other day. He needs to show up and just like look presidential, take whatever they say, like don't really go off too far, and then he'll look good in the end. Like, well, he showed up.
Interesting. I like that.
Just have Alec Baldwin show up there as Trump. Just have him.
Full outfit,
Yes.
full makeup.
Just face.
What do you think about that? I said about Pence. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great
Makes him look good.
choice. It does make him look good, and oftentimes the office of the vice president makes its own decisions.
Yes. Yeah, we know that. Yes.
So that'd be really interesting. I doubt Donald Trump would allow him to.
Yeah, I know, but the thought was like.
I thought that a Hillary Clinton should be the keynote. Bernie
funny.
Sanders could be the keynote.
There you go. That's funny.
Kamala Harris.
My
Where you
girl.
at?
My girl.
California. She could be. So yeah, or Barack Obama could just come back and just be like, let me pick up. He should come back and like pick up the mic. And be like, sorry, John, I gotta come back now.
He's busy right now, wherever in the islands, whatever.
He was in New York.
Oh, he's in New York.
He was in New York. I don't know if you guys saw
okay.
I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but like he walked out, coffee in hand, waving like cool.
Oh, he is.
Like
Well,
straight up.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a care in the
Give
world.
him 2 Fs.
He does not care about what Donald Trump is. You got George W. Bush
yes.
on the Today Show.
Yes.
Barack Obama's like, I will not do another interview for a few months. Michelle's doing Soul Cycle in New York. Like, they're not worried about anybody right now. But what we are worried about is that the Attorney General's office has decided to withdraw the Obama-era protections for transgender students in public schools. Apparently, Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education, decided that she did not feel comfortable doing that. However, Attorney General Jeff Sessions decided that he wanted that. So the way that it works is that the Justice Department needs the Department of Education sign-off to make anything happen in the public school systems or in the school systems, and Betsy DeVos caved in to Jeff Sessions. Where were you guys thinking when the whole HB2 thing came down, and now we've got this kind of national thing happening?
I'm so angry. I can't even tell you how angry I am. It's just like, again, they're showing us who they are. I mean, he's barely been in office, and so many things are happening right now, almost a distraction. It's almost like, there's this over here, there's a bomb over there, there's a bomb over there, and the wall over here, and we need to win the war. It's like, so what's going on? But this trans thing, it's like, leave it alone.
Right.
Like, seriously, we don't need to be talking. It's like, seriously, it's been settled. It's like, and I don't care what you believe, what you think it should, what it should be. Well, they're confused. A lot of things, all these scenarios they keep kind of bringing up that possibly could happen, not going to happen. It's literally about going to the bathroom. That's what it's literally about, going to the bathroom in peace. Nothing happens in women's bathrooms. You go to the bathroom, they have stalls, they close it. Like, I don't understand. It just angers me so much.
And I feel like people forget that they've had unisex bathrooms their whole life.
Right.
In their house.
Right.
Yes.
You've been inside.
Right.
What the heck?
Right.
There you go.
It's been in your house all the time.
Right. It just bugs me so much. It's like, it's a bathroom issue. It's about the bathroom.
The Attorney General's office also decided that they would fight. They would go to the Supreme Court. I think that Jeff Sessions is going himself, from what I understand, to talk about Texas's voter ID laws, because the Obama administration kind of brought down more restrictions on what Texas could do, and they basically want to lift them because they say we're not racist and stuff like that. Do you guys feel like we should have stricter voter ID laws, or that states are typically in a good spot right now and it's kind of easy to vote?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. To be honest, I'm not. I mean, it seems like it's easy to vote if you want to, but I mean, but I'm sitting here living in Los Angeles, where I mean, it's a lot of access to stuff. I'm not in some rural part of the country where I may not have things readily accessible to me, so I can't speak for them and how.
Do you think that people should have to have IDs to vote?
I think you should be able to at least prove who you are.
In what way?
I mean, whether it's
School ID.
School ID, as long as it's a photo ID with your name on it, I am fine with that. It doesn't have to be necessarily a registered government ID or anything like that.
So then how do you tell people when people say, oh, but I can get a fake ID from a college, put my name on it and put my photo on it, like how do you prove yourself to that? Like what do you say to those people?
That is, yeah, I just like.
Well, it's like, who's gonna, like, I mean, it's just talking about voting. It's not talking about getting booze. So it's like, people who want to vote really do want to vote. Like, I don't feel like the law should be stricter. I'm sorry, I just don't feel that. I just feel like there's things in place, as a black man, and I'm surprised, there's things in place that I've seen that have, I'm black. This year I'm black. God. I was Dutch last year. And Puerto Rican the year before. No, but it's just completely, there are systems set up in place to make people have problems to able to vote. And I don't think we need stricter. I think a lot of states were okay, but like you said, some of these states that are like some parts of the South, some parts of the North, Midwest, they do need to like look at the whole system as a whole, so that people, because I think people are not being able to vote. And for just weird reasons, and I just think it's we don't need stricter. We just need laws that just everybody who can vote, that they can prove who they are. Fine. I don't know if people are faking IDs so they can vote. I don't know if that maybe it's happening. I don't know, but I just don't think that's a huge issue.
Well, when you look at the voter turnout for the last election, clearly not everybody's rushing. Whether they're not allowed to or they're not rushing, there's still a clear gap of people that aren't doing it.
And voter fraud is like 1% of whatever.
I keep saying that. I don't think those are major issues really, but I think they are. I think there are systems in place that are trying to stop certain people from voting.
So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, Jeff Sessions is probably moseying on down. He's not having much else to do. Like I said at the top of the show, Donald Trump is currently, right now as we are live, giving his joint congressional address. It's not a State of the Union because you can't give a State of the Union after your first year. It is just a joint session. I just want to read a couple of excerpts from what he has said so far. He talked about immigration. He said that... where was it? By finally enforcing our immigration laws, we will raise wages, help the unemployed, save billions of dollars, and make our community safer for everyone.
That statement alone is so loaded. That statement is so loaded.
Raise wages. I don't know how they're going to do that if corporations don't want to.
Exactly.
Raise wages.
Right.
Help the unemployed. They got to get if it is like if Americans don't want to do the jobs that immigrants are
No,
doing
they don't.
anyway, so
That's
they're
the
certainly
truth.
not going to do that.
That's the truth.
Save billions of dollars so that he could pay for his $54 billion increase in defense spending.
Right. We got to win wars. We got to win
and
wars.
make our communities safer, as if immigrants are the ones that are making
exactly.
communities not safe.
Exactly.
He also talked about. He actually, at the top of the, I will give him credit, at the top of the speech, he did talk about the JCC bomb threats, the shooting in Kansas, something that people have really been pressuring him to speak on this week. So we'll talk about it next week on next week's show, but if you guys have opinions on Donald Trump's speech, leave your comments below, and then I will use some of that in next week's show, or tweet at me, and I'll use your comments on the show as well. Also, last week in Congress, town halls across the country. So the Congress was on recess last week. They go on recess probably apparently they only work 178 days out of the year.
They don't go out,
Apparently, according to the Congressional count, they only work half of what we normally work. The other half is back at home doing town halls that they're not showing up to.
Yes, that is. Yes.
But Tom Cotton had a town hall last week. I think they're going to throw the graphic up here in a second. And these town halls are getting a little crazy.
Mm-hmm. I saw some snippets of things, and people were a lot of women yelling and screaming and just.
Do you guys believe Republicans when they say these people are not in my district?
No.
No.
I don't have anything to say. And it's all just they're trying to play it off.
Do you think it would be better for them to say, these people are a part of my district, I'm here to listen to you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And let me see what I can do when I go back to Washington, because it is very difficult. As Donald Trump said, things are very complicated.
No.
Like healthcare.
But I mean, to say a statement like that, I feel like you're just dismissing a part of your voting populace. It's like, no, I do not care about what you've had. You don't exist.
Right.
I treat it like you have asked to represent this body of people. So, and some people are going to be on your side, and some people are not going to be on your side. And so you should be able to listen to both sides.
So you're trying to say, okay, someone must have drove 30 miles from another district and came in here just to yell at me or something? That's not it.
Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, said that, basically that people were just coming to yell at him and stuff like that. But what he doesn't realize is that his kind of sections in Miami, you have to drive pretty far to get to Miami.
Yes, you do.
To do whatever he's gonna do.
I love me some Miami.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Darrell Issel came out? He won his district by 1% here in California.
Yes.
Do you guys think that Congress should use their energy on a Russia probe?
I mean, it feels like they're already kind of talking about it so much, but nothing's happening anyway. So I don't know if we should waste our time. I mean, should we?
Well, I mean, it feels also like anybody that could actually greenlight any of those probes are on.
Jason Chavez, what are you doing?
Yes.
Right.
Darrell Issel, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of like
David Nunes, what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, it's a shame that we don't.
Would you guys want to see that?
I would love to see an independent. I mean, I still would love to see the fact that the tax returns thing like that. That stuff does irritate me. Just
me
feel
too.
like why does he think that he's above everything else that we've been doing?
I
So
agree.
that is frustrating. So it gets frustrating that there are people on his side that are blocking these things from happening.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally agree.
So as we always do, you guys, a new panel of the show. I always ask, what's on your mind this week? Frank, tell me what's on your mind this week.
I guess on my mind, a lot of things that are happening in the world right now, or especially in America. Oh, and anything?
It could be anything.
Anything on my? Well, let's see. Gosh, I just interviewed somebody from Fast and Furious 8, so I'm really excited about that film.
Here?
I'll get it. Yes.
Yes. Did you guys just tape it?
We just taped it. Yes.
What show was it? It was on Spotlight On?
The Spotlight On. Yes.
So check out that interview on
There you
Spotlight
go.
On. Who was it? It was not Paul Walker.
No, it was not Paul Walker. It was not Vin Diesel.
Not Vin Diesel.
Yes.
It was not The Rock.
It was Celestino Corniello.
Well, check that
Yes.
one out, James. What's on your mind?
And quickly, mine is David Cassidy has dementia, and so I think dementia and any neurological disorder and Alzheimer's stuff, we need to get more money for research. I've had several grandmothers die from it. It's a horrible disease.
You got shows coming up this week?
I do actually. I do have some shows this week with him on Sunday. GH Report, Breaking Into with the wonderful photographer named Cynthia, and then I'm also doing Bold Breakdown.
There you go. I've got Comic Book Exchange tomorrow night, Riverdale on Thursday night, GH Report on Sunday, as well as MacGyver on Sunday night as well.
That's fun. Where can they find you on the Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like looking at pictures of the food I eat, folks, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
And I'm James Lott Jr. I'm all over the internet. Trust me, I'm on there all the time. Just Google my name. You'll find me everywhere.
Thank you for joining the show, guys. Thanks to Representative Jewell Jones for coming on the show. You can follow me on Twitter at DrexelHerd. I will see you all next week with author Isabella Wagner. Thank you all for coming out today.
Thanks for having us, Drexel.
I'll see you next week.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Darian Christie, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.